like you need to start this off more with a bang. I feel like that, we can do better.
Bang. Here we go.
Everybody, come on.
Let's go out with a bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
Here we go.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Midwest Married. I'm Amy.
I'm Matt.
I'm Ryan.
And thank you for joining us this evening.
We were just talking about it. This episode is going to launch in the first week of March, right? And so it just so happens that March is what month, Matt?
Ladder Safety Month.
Ladder Safety Awareness. And this episode is inspired by a recent event, a very scary event, actually. Matt, do you want to take that away and introduce our topic of the evening?
Sure. Well, here we go. Amy and I are building a house, and that house does not have a roof on it yet. So when it snows in beautiful northern Minnesota, we have to go and shovel the house out, and our house has 2 stories. So I got to the house. I followed my father-in-law up the ladder. He went up. I went up. We shoveled the top. He went down. I continued to shovel. He shoveled the downstairs while I was doing the finer snow cleanup.
Mm-hmm. Important.
Important, yep. And I finished my task at hand, and I thought it would be wise to assist my 70-year-old father-in-law in shoveling. So I, shovel in hand, went to the ladder and, grabbed one top rung, and I went around, put my foot on one of the rungs, started to lift my other foot off the floor, and that ladder went for a ride with me with it. Woo!
How far up?
So
we have tall ceilings in our first floor. So the top of the second floor was 12 feet off the concrete floor below.
And I was standing at floor level, was where the first rung that I stepped on. So the legs kicked out, and I came down. The ladder and my chest hit the floor, boom, landed, and I scrambled. I was trying to grab onto anything I could. I was grabbing boards were flying by, tarps were going.
Don't mean to laugh.
And then somehow, with everything that was going on, the ladder caught the top of my foot and ripped me off of my plank that I landed on. And I fell a solid 12 feet onto my head and neck.
Not onto his head and neck, onto your side, but right?
Nope.
Yeah.
But
well, how was the...
You said you went like this.
Yeah, I was falling backwards.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
And I tried to throw my arms down.
Yeah.
To catch the ground before
to catch your fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't swan dive head and
neck
I didn't swan
into the
dive. Right. That's what I'm trying to clarify. Yeah, because you would be dead.
Yeah, if you'd not be here right now.
Yeah, you are the
but you're
luckiest.
Still lucky to be here right now.
You are the luckiest unlucky person I have ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take over the story from here because you land on the concrete ground, right? You're now disoriented. I think my dad was scared half to death, trying to convince you to go to his house, and you were just like, nope, I got to go home. I got to go home. Meanwhile, I was taking Eloise to tumbling at the local elementary school. We live 5 minutes away from there. And my dad calls and he says, hey, so Amy, Matt fell off the ladder at the house today. So I brought him home. He's going to take some ibuprofen and hang out there. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? The ladder? He was like, yeah. And I was like, how high was he on the ladder? Yeah. And he goes, I think he was at the top of the ladder. And immediately I'm just like, I got to call him.
Got to go.
Bye. So then I proceeded to pick up the phone, call Matt. He answers. And I'm like, okay, tell me what happened. And you can tell that he's like the adrenaline is rushing. Yeah. He was tearing up. And, he told me, yep, I was at the top. I fell all the way down to the bottom and hit my head on the concrete. Oh my gosh. The adrenaline spike that I had in my body. I don't know how these guys were not more concerned.
Right.
I grabbed Eloise and Emmett. I was like, okay, we got to go. The kids, like, I swear to God, they don't, like, whenever you're in a hurry, like, I'm getting the adrenaline rush just, like, thinking about this experience again. But whenever you're in a hurry and there's, like, a pressing matter, I swear that's when your kids decide to, like, walk as slow as humanly possible. And so then you look like a crazy person in the elementary school being like, come on, you need to hurry up. Get in the car.
That's such the truth.
That's what I sounded like.
Man.
Anyway, we race home. We get to Matt, or at first I drop my kids off at my parents' house, pick up Matt, proceed directly to the emergency room. I'm like, I with how you fell, you've got a big goose egg on the back of your head. I don't care. We're not passing go. We're going straight to the ER. This is a ticket to head CT. So we get down to the emergency room and they get us back there. And the doc is like, yep, we need to get some imaging. You know, we showed him from how high he fell from, and the amazement that the ER physician had was like, how are you still conscious? How do you not have any more, like, because we like examined your body. We were like, do you have any joint pains, broken bones? And he was like, nope, just a headache, just a headache. And
I'm a ninja.
I was gonna say you're a ninja in the air.
Oh my gosh. So we got the head and neck CT, not a single skull fracture or neck fracture,
That's nuts.
not a brain bleed, just a good old goose egg hematoma on the back of his head. So we could not be more thankful, but like, I don't know if I hid it well or if I didn't hide it, but I was freaking out on the inside.
What'd you tell the kiddos? Like, just dad fell off a ladder, dad had an accident?
Emmett asked if I was going to die. So
Well, because the kid, Eloise, was putting up a little bit of a stink about leaving her tumbling class.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, we got to go. And she was like, Mom, no. Right? She was having fun at her tumbling class. And I was like, your dad fell off a ladder. We have to bring him to the ER. Exactly. Come on. Time is of the essence.
Yep. At that point, you got to get through to him.
Yes. But she was like, I have to tell my teacher. So she did take 2 seconds to go and tell her coach in front of all of the other students, my dad fell off a ladder and we have to bring him to the ER. So I have to go. And the coach was like, okay, good luck.
Wow. Well,
So I lived, and it was just an oversight. My father-in-law had moved the ladder from its original position, and the bracing ended up being removed. So it was something that he didn't think about, and I didn't think about, and it was just a stupid accident, you know?
Could have been so bad.
Could have been really bad. Could have
landed on something.
Could have
not
been
only your head, but would they say even like a nail or anything?
Yeah, impaled on something, quadriplegic, who knows? But here I am. Mm-hmm. I'm Superman. I'm going to live forever. And on that note, everybody, march. Ladder safety. Every year in the U.S., approximately 500,000 people visit the emergency room due to a ladder injury, and approximately 300 deaths.
Wow. I'm glad you're not one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So we are talking about near-death experiences today because that could have been real bad.
Could have been awful.
Yeah. Like legit you know how you just have intrusive thoughts as like you think of the worst case scenario, like on the way down, I was like, oh my God, what if he has a brain bleed and then he has to have surgery and then he dies and then I'm left with my kids in this half-built house? What am I going to do with this house? This is...
You're going to build it. Put my life into that house.
I was freaking out. As Emmett would say, freaking out.
Fridge or something.
Yeah.
Just put what did you just say? Just put his ashes on top of the fridge?
Yeah. Well, somewhere present, so you can always see them.
Amy's too short. She can't see the top of the fridge.
We had a discussion about this. Like I was trying to reach something in the cabinet here on the top of the fridge, and I couldn't reach it, being all 5'4". And so I asked Matt, can you grab this for me? And I'm like, oh, what must it be like to be tall? Yeah. Ryan, you're tall too. And then we talked about how I never realized that other people can see the top of my fridge. So I never dust it, like ever. I'm sure that the dust on top of that fridge is like a 1/4 inch thick.
I took care of it.
Thank you. And then I confirmed with Matt and Ryan that yes, if you're 6 feet tall, you can see the top of a fridge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you haven't looked at the top of your fridge lately, there's don't. Yeah.
And for anybody that's wondering, I'm doing okay. I
Yes.
still have a headache. I am
Concussed.
Saturday to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days removed. The last episode that you would have listened to with Sarah in regards to traveling, I was only 2 days.
That's impressive. You just hop back on that surfboard. Just recorded.
Yeah. Have you ever
reference.
had any near-death experiences, Ryan?
He's going to tell you about one in a little while, but we're going to save it, okay?
Oh, we're saving it?
And I got at least 2 I can share beyond what just happened.
Oh, gosh.
I do have a medical question for you, though.
Yeah.
About concussions, and only because our youngest, who is now 5, but this is probably when she was like 1 or 2, she popped on a chair, fell backwards, hit her head. Long story short, we took her in. She ended up having a concussion, and the doc said the same thing. He was like, "You're so lucky," because yesterday, a kid similar to her age did the same thing, fell off a chair, hit her head on the hardwood floor, but they had brain bleeding, so they had to put her in a helicopter, rush her down to Minneapolis, and yeah, but Scarlett was not fine. She had a concussion. She was 1. I've never had one. I'm like, my God, my daughter had one. I'm 37, and I've
then
never
you just
had
feel
one.
bad as a parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, accidents
but
happen.
my question is she kept wanting to sleep and rest. We kept waking her up, and the ED doc was like, "No, let her sleep." Like that's an old wives' tale or whatever. And more research came out that let them sleep. It rests the brain and helps the swelling go down.
Yeah.
Is that the same for adults?
Yeah. It used
Because it used to was like, no, don't.
it
let
used to
them
be
sleep.
that
Wake
you
'em
wanted
up.
to keep them up and wake them up, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that was more for like monitoring purposes, to be like, hey, you sure you're still good, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe before they had imaging and whatnot.
Sure.
But now the number one treatment really for concussions, and I mean now they have like PT protocols and there are things that you can do, but brain rest initially is like one of the most important things. And so that means like even avoiding strenuous or not even strenuous, but like computer work, like at work, using your brain and thinking real hard, reading, like that can be really tiring. Taking naps, resting, that's really the best thing that you can do initially after a concussion. Typically, symptoms last 7 to 10 days, but you can develop post-concussive syndrome, which is real annoying and can have lingering effects like dizziness, headaches, nausea, imbalance.
Don't milk it for too long.
Confusion, irritability.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Yikes.
that won't happen there. I'm trying to encourage him to just rest up
Rest.
as much as he can.
Here's to drinking coffee at 10 o'clock
I
at
know.
night. Since I'm
Avoiding
not
alcohol.
drinking right now.
So,
All right.
Okay. That was my medical question.
okay. Well, are we going to
Let's
dive into
get it.
some
do
stories
it.
here? Matt found the stories, and I'm going to read them for the first time. I think you just read the titles, right?
Yep. It's
All
a
right.
surprise to all.
I love it. I love it when we are all giving our first impressions. Okay. First story here. Am I the asshole for letting my girlfriend fall off a ladder to prove a point?
Oh.
I'm
My.
guessing yes. I'm guessing yes.
Safe assumption.
We'll see. Okay. My girlfriend and I, both 24, bought a house together last year. It needed quite a lot of doing up, which we haven't had an opportunity to do until now. I'm still working, even though it's from home, so our agreement was that she'd paint and get me to help every now and then when she needed it. I walked into what is going to be her office to see her struggling badly. She's just above 5 feet tall. I feel ya. Hard being short, and couldn't reach anything high up, even with the ladder, so obviously I offered to help. She refused, saying I needed to let her do it by herself and stop looking after her all the time. I left to go get a coffee and then came back. I could see her being fairly unstable on the ladder. She's quite badly anemic at the minute, so was a bit shaky on the floor anyways, but she still refused to let me help. She was probably about 2 meters off the floor when she fell.
6 feet.
It was an accident waiting to happen, but I didn't stop it. She's absolutely fine, no injuries, but she's somehow trying to turn this into me being abusive, even though I offered to help many times. Am I the asshole?
Stubborn one.
Well, maybe I might have changed my mind a little bit.
Oh. Abusive is a strong word.
I know, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say he's the asshole.
You think so?
Yeah.
What should,
I mean,
what should he have done differently?
just stand behind her. If the ladder's wobbling, like I'm thinking if my wife was up there painting and she said, I got it, just leave me be. I'd be like, okay, well, I just kind of sit back. I'd be there in case something happened. But if you can clearly see it's wobbling and she's not in a good state, like something's going to happen. At least be there. At least you can catch her close enough instead of, well, told you.
I'm with you 100%. I would at least be in the room, or, I know you don't want my help, but it just, for my own feelings, I just want to hold the ladder. Okay.
Right.
That's going to make me feel better about this situation.
Yep.
Because you know what? Worst case scenario, yeah, you fall, whatever, but you got a paint can up there, and then that's going to explode everywhere.
Trickle effect.
Yeah.
And then what else
That's
is going to
be
happen?
a mess.
Yeah.
So, but 2 meters, roughly, just over 6 feet. So that's still
That's a good height.
fall.
Yeah.
And we just talked about what could happen. 6 feet, crank your head, brain bleed, you done, son.
Yeah.
See, my
So what do you think?
initial reaction to the title was, yes, you're the asshole. But then I see you guys are so loving and caring as far as husbands go. I kind of was like, well, he offered to help multiple times and she rebuffed him multiple times and was like, get out of here. I got this. And so if that's like her decision to reject someone's help, then it's a little bit on her that she fell. And I think that she shouldn't have blamed him because he was the one that was like, hey, we got to do something different.
Yeah, but you also wonder how long have they been together for, how long have they been married for, and other stuff like this. Like, oh, yep, she's kind of being stubborn again. I'm still gonna stay here. Or if this is like maybe is this a first time that she was like, I got this, leave me alone. And he's like, okay, fine. Or like, nope, something's gonna happen. I'm gonna stay here.
Abusive?
That's strong. Like,
That's a strong word.
yeah. I think about, though, what you would probably do, Matt, in this situation. You'd probably find some way to make the ladder more stable. Like, what's going on with her ladder that it's not stable? Or like, take 2 ladders and put a board across it. So you've got like a scaffolding, basically.
So you're helping her, but you're not like...
Right. Be like, okay, we're going to do
Hands
something
on.
different here. Your ladder is not steady. We're going to stabilize your ladder for you.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like that's what you would do. Maybe not.
Yeah. Use the 4-to-1 rule.
The what?
4-to-1 rule for ladders.
What's the 4-to-1 rule? Mr. Ladder Safety.
For every 4 feet you go up, your ladder legs should be 1 feet out. 8 feet, 2 feet out. 12.
You're going to learn so much
3 feet.
about ladders.
I bet
We're all
everybody
gonna learn
really
so much
wanted
tonight.
to learn all of this good ladder
Surprisingly, although I don't follow it, I am OSHA 8 or OSHA 10 certified.
One of those numbers.
Got my card downstairs.
Way to go. Way to go.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the internet was not as kind as you. They said not the asshole, or not as not kind, whatever way you want to look at it. Not the asshole, while you could have maybe been a little less stubborn and pushed harder to help her if you knew it could have happened, she has no right to blame it on you. And she could have been less stubborn. She told you she wanted to do it herself.
Yeah, but he was doing it to prove a point.
Yeah, he responded. He said, I pushed. I got another paintbrush and tried to help at one point, but she still refused.
Well, don't help paint. Just be around.
Just hold the ladder.
Right. Just be in the vicinity of the ladder.
Good conversation opportunity.
There you go. You can just chit chat. She might just be embarrassed because she wanted to do it herself. I get where she's coming from. I'm short and I like to be independent. However, it's not your fault that she fell.
He could have told her that she was doing an awful job of, what's the thing you do?
Trimming.
Cutting in.
Cutting in.
Oh, yes.
And made her feel bad. That way she would have quit. Saved herself.
Did we talk about that on Krista's episode?
you
The
did.
cutting in? Yeah.
I remember watching that and I was like, you said trimming. That's why I just
Edging.
said trimming. Edging. I said trimming. Cutting in.
Cutting in. Painting, guys. We're talking about painting.
Oh.
Everybody says not the asshole. Here. wait a minute. Here's one that agrees with you. I think that she shouldn't be angry at you, but the best action probably would have been to hold the ladder for her instead of grabbing what she needed and handing it to her. She wants you to support her, not to do things for her. I know what it feels like to feel helpless, and it sucks. Even if someone else can do something faster and better than me, if I just let them do it, then I'll just feel helpless again.
It's like a lose-lose for him. If you go and hold the ladder, you ask for forgiveness later, she's going to be like, I told you I could do it. Let's just get out of here. Or she falls off the ladder, which, again, she could be out for weeks. And then if they have kids and all that stuff. So, yeah, I would. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very one-sided, it sounds like. Aren't we gentle scholars, my friend?
We're soft.
We're men. We're men in tights.
Gentlemen.
Tights.
Is that Monty Python?
Robin Hood.
Men in tights.
Ah, okay.
Close though.
I've never actually watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, it's good.
But I've heard so many quotes from it that I feel like I know it. Apparently not. Clearly. Wrong movie reference. All right. Are we moving on?
Let's do it.
Okay. You guys tell me when we're sharing near-death experiences, though.
Oh.
That's pretty wild.
All right. Let's hear Ryan's.
I want to hear it. You held me in suspense for a whole story.
Gosh.
So now I'm
So
writing it.
I thought we were saving this.
Well, we did save it.
Just kidding.
We're at the bar today, and I asked Ryan this, and he said,
I had one near-death experience, I thought.
Okay.
Which I put on myself. It wasn't anything like I'm going towards a tree and I'm almost going to die. But back in college, have you ever tried what you call a gravity bong?
A what?
A gravity bomb.
A gravity bong.
What's that?
It's this instrument that you smoke weed out of.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, I don't know anything
it's like
about
a
that.
big glass tube and it goes straight to your face. So we took a hit of a gravity bong. I'm with 4 or 5 buddies, and I've never done it. So I took a big hit.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, cool, whatever. And then I went upstairs to do something. I was like, uh-oh. I felt like my heart was like, bum, 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 bum. It felt like a cartoon. I could feel the outline of my skin and my heart beating. I was like, Nick, I'm going to call an ambulance. I'm dying. He's like, you're not dying. This is the effects of it. No, I was like, I'm dying right now. This isn't normal. This isn't normal. So I went upstairs and I sat in the bed and my heart was like, boom, 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 boom. I had my phone. I was like, I'm going to call 911. I think my cousin walked in. He's like, you're not calling 911. You're fine. This is the effects of it. I was like, I don't like it. I'm going to die. And then it eventually wore down.
Oh, okay.
But I thought I was going to die.
That's scary.
I was like, oh my gosh, is my body reacting differently than other people? Am I going to have a heart attack because this is not normal? It doesn't feel normal. So now I freaked myself out, and then you get yourself going. And so,
caution.
Gravity bongs.
That sounds scary.
Experience.
Near-death experience. Not truly
Other
near death,
people
but you just
love
thought
it,
you were
and
near
they're having
death.
a grand old time. I'm upstairs
Nope, not for me. Not for me.
but in all seriousness, no, not a real life near-death experience.
Oh, that's good.
Not
That's good.
planes overturning on the runway.
Oh my gosh. Matt and I fly very soon.
Oh, yeah. Me too in a month.
3 days.
By the time this comes out, will we have come back?
We'll be back.
Okay. So you will know whether we lived or died. Here we go. In the
I'll be here.
plane. There we go. Ryan will be here.
You're right here. Nobody.
He'll
in
come
your
on
house.
and do.
Just keep the setup the same, please. I don't know how to set this shit
Hey
up.
guys, Amy and Matt unfortunately died. It's not a laughing matter. I'm sorry, guys. Dark sense of humor apparently today. Well, you can hold a nice little memorial for us.
Yeah. From the fridge.
All right. Should we move on?
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a gravity bomb once.
You did?
How was your reaction?
Did you almost die too?
Well, that's debatable. I absolutely loved it.
Oh, the actions made you almost die.
I was young, teenager, and I ended up driving down a bike trail. What I thought was a road turned into a bike trail. And
Just stay
Oh
on
my
the couch, eat, munchies and play video games. Such a safe space.
Don't drive after
Don't let them out the door.
gravity bongs.
We were doing it in the car. So,
Oh my gosh, Matt.
Nope. Then I would
you
die.
know,
How are you still alive? Like,
I got
there
lots- I
has
got
to be
lots
some
of
purpose to your
stories.
How many
life.
cats do
I got
how many
lots of
lives do cats
stories.
have?
9. I've used those. Trust me.
I was trying to think about a near-death experience for myself, and I don't think I had a true near-death experience. You know, if it's potentially, like, you know, when Emmett was born, he got stuck, shoulder dystocia. And in the theory, like, if they wouldn't have been able to get him out, that could have been life-threatening.
Yeah.
But it wasn't,
Yeah.
because they got him out within 30 seconds. That was great.
All right.
But yeah, I can't think of anything life-threatening for
Anything
me.
car related or
Me?
Or-
Oh,
Oh, I got 2 stories that I'm going to share as we roll through this. Good
okay.
ones.
I mean, well, are you thinking about the one where the tire flew off the Durango?
I wasn't until now.
Well, that probably could have been bad.
Could have been.
We were going like,
Wait, you said
we were
that.
young and dumb, right? And like going 90 miles an hour or something. Mike was driving. We were coming home from Valley Fair, and the tire flew off the car right as Matt was about to kiss me for the first time ever.
No.
Sparks flew. Literal
and literally watched the
sparks.
tire pass us on the
Yes. Yeah. And
So did you like jolt forward and kiss her? Or did you not even-
nope. The moment was ruined. Did not get my first kiss.
Oh, the tire.
Nope. There went the tire, and luckily the car didn't flip or anything. I don't even know if we had our seatbelts on because
We were
We were
laying
all
in the
snuggled
back.
up in the back.
There was like 9 of us packed into a Durango.
Right.
Like, we were laying down in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
we lived.
We
That
lived.
could have been bad, but we lived on that one.
next story.
That one.
Next story. Okay. Am I the asshole for expecting half of my partner's injury refund? My partner injured himself on faulty installations at a hotel. As it was the hotel's fault, they agreed to pay for expenses. We did not ask for damages. The expenses were A, full refund of hotel stay, B, hospital expenses, C, pharmacy expenses, and D, reimbursement for non-refundable plans we could no longer keep. As we paid 50-50 for the hotel and he received a full refund, I expected to get back the 50% that I had paid for our stay. I said if it were me, I would have refunded his money. He believes I was wrong in asking for my money back as he was the one who got hurt and the money was for his suffering. But he didn't receive damages, just a refund of expenses. Note, I am only talking about the half of the hotel for which I paid, not half of the total amount. Am I the asshole?
Nope. I'm going to just jump right in.
Go for it.
Yeah.
No, you absolutely should get your money back. This is a boyfriend, right?
Partner.
Partner?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. All right. So, like, hypothetically, we go on a guy's trip or we go on a trip, one or the other, and we split the cost 50-50 for a room. And then the hotel's like, oh, yeah, you cut your hand. You had to go and get some stitches. We're going to refund you guys the rest of the room. Should you not just make it even across the board? Like, hey, it's a free night for all of us to stay. And if you want to go and collect damages, sue them. Or, hey, Miller, here's your money back. Dude, you got messed up.
Yeah.
Let's go to the bar. I'm going to buy you a drink.
All right.
Great. And if this is your partner, if it was you, I mean, does it really matter? Like,
Well, they're probably just dating maybe at that time if they're splitting expenses.
yeah. And at that point, then, yeah, I would say, yeah, I'm going to give you your money back because the room was free. It was free. Everything else was free. We got money. Like, let's just go and enjoy the rest of our trip. Not the asshole. Partner is a D-bag.
I agree with you
Yeah.
that it's all enjoy this,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I'm with you too. I wonder what the rest of the world is going to say. I feel like that's a very Minnesota answer, like a very Midwest answer. because I wonder if everybody else is going to be like, no, they did have suffering. And if they didn't get hurt, they wouldn't have had the free stay period. And so it really didn't have any effect on the other person. I'm not saying that I agree with that. If it were me and I got hurt and we got our hotel comped, then yeah, I wouldn't, because then it's like your friend is paying you in a way instead of the hotel. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's weird. Hey, pay me for a hotel that I didn't have to pay for.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
What about, so for similar situation, let's say a group of us, the three of us got in the car and we started driving and we're all just driving along, bloop, bloop, and we were on a road trip. And you know why I'm pulling you over? You were doing 52 and a 40. Do you guys split the speeding ticket? I had no idea, officer. Like I was following my navigator that they just, it was on the GPS. I had no idea.
I feel like that's tougher.
That's hard.
Because
That's
it's
a hard
like
one.
That's a tough one.
paying in. Because it was also like, okay, kind of the driver's like, did you have control over? Were you telling, hey, driver, go faster? Or were you complicit in the speeding? Or were you completely passive and it was totally Matt's decision to be reckless in speeding?
Yeah.
Right?
I think somebody in that situation, somebody in the vehicle, other than the driver, has to speak up and be like, dude, we'll split it. Whatever. Like, thanks for driving. Thanks for getting us there. I didn't realize it was that speed either. But if nobody says anything, that's like, does the driver say something? Hey, guys, you want to split the cost? I think in that situation, somebody else has to speak up. Otherwise, the driver's just got to eat it. Like, and I wouldn't ask anybody to, if I was driving and I got the ticket, I wouldn't be like, hey, guys, want to help me out with this?
But you would hope that your buddies would have your back for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a road trip and the driver, I'm a fast driver and the driver at the time was a good friend of mine, also a fast driver. I knew that. That's great. And speed limit on the freeway, solid 70, right? And for whatever reason, said friend had the urge to get that rental car. He's like, I'm hitting 100. I'm going to hit 100.
Near-death experiences.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Don't do that.
Anyways, I'm like, hey, dude, you better slow down. Like, dude.
Yeah.
And I watched the cop off the on-ramp or off-ramp. Just
Got him.
booking it.
Yes.
Got him. There was 6 of us on that road trip and the ticket was $300. We split it up.
Oh.
Oh, you did, huh? And you guys weren't even complicit in that decision.
Now, I think it was kind of to like boost the spirits.
Right.
Yeah.
It was couldn't let the trip
I was
die.
going to say, don't want to start off on a wrong foot either.
So
I mean, you could have died.
could have.
Fast.
That's too fast. That reminds me of Superman complex. That we've joked about that for years. Have you heard of Superman complex?
So like where you think you're immortal?
Invincible. Nothing bad is going to happen to me. I'm good.
Yep.
I'm never going to get pulled over. I'm going to go and do X, Y, and Z. I'm never going to get hurt. I'm good. I'm invincible.
Yep.
I looked up the actual definition of that.
It's kind of like some of the athletes think they're, immortal or they're above the law or nothing's going to happen to me. I can get away with this.
Refers to an unhealthy sense of responsibility where an individual believes they must take on every problem, big or small, often due to a belief that others are incapable of handling tasks themselves. But also it's may help them feel invulnerable. Yes, like nothing can happen to them. In the work environment, this can lead to burnout, strained relationships, because they just feel like they need to do everything. Seeking help is a sign of weakness, etc. Most common, though, in late teens to early 20s. Feeling like they have something to prove. But yeah, we've always talked about it as really being this belief that nothing bad is going to happen no matter what you do for your actions.
And I believe that based on proof. One time, I was riding my dirt bike and I went off a jump. Wham! And tire caught wrong off a rock or in the groove. And it sent me into the direction of a pole building. And I hit that pole building head on. And I flew through the metal. And I went through 8 panes of glass, smashed them all into this machine building. It was like at a farm. So tons of heavy equipment and machinery around, and just landed right in the middle of the room. Boom.
Did you have a helmet on?
I did.
Okay, well, that's good. That probably saved your life.
But didn't get cut. I literally stood up. I was like, whew, could have been bad.
This guy.
I know. Like, there's
the worst part was I had to somehow manage to get my dirt bike out of the building. Like, it was stuck in between the metal.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just imagining you barreling into a room of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with everything hanging, and you're just like, oh, I missed everything here. Whew, not a scratch on me.
Just like that.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Wow.
I don't even know. I'm speechless.
There you go.
I don't know. How are you still here? Everybody's like, well, that explains a lot about Matt. No, just kidding.
God.
How funny. You want to hear what everybody else thought?
Yes.
Yes. What do the people say?
Overall vote was not the asshole. Top comment. So you both paid for the hotel. You both had to go to the hospital, reschedule plans, miss out on a day or so of holiday fun. His actual medical expenses were paid. Not the asshole. You should get your hotel expenses back too. Oh, we did have a couple edits though. As someone asked, it was a cut that required a few stitches. We were able to continue our holiday, but missed the plans that we had made that day due to the hospital visit. The hotel stay was $250. The total amount was around $700. The injury affected mobility. Edit number 2. Thanks everyone for weighing in. He has since decided to refund my part of the hotel, although he still disagrees. Have enjoyed reading everyone's point of view.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's the result.
There you go. Just ask Reddit.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Let's do it.
Oh, speaking of driving stuff, my 28 female girlfriend, 25 female, almost could have killed us while driving.
Dun, dun, dun.
My girlfriend and I were on a road trip at night in an old van along a thin road that was on a small cliff with no property safety barriers with a sizable drop into the sea.
Oh.
That's painting quite the picture.
Yeah. Yes.
She kept swerving the van from side to side and messing around when I told her to cut it out and that she'll end up accidentally killing us if she continues. One of the wheels got stuck on something for a few seconds and she lost control of the van momentarily, which made me freak out. She only stopped messing around when that happened and I was on the verge of tears and shaking. When we arrived at the motel later that evening, I lost it on her and I left the motel room to go sit in the car park and couldn't stop crying. I returned about 30 minutes later and didn't want to talk to her. And she said it was abusive that I wasn't talking to her when, quote, we didn't die and that she stopped messing around after it happened, end quote. I feel like she wasn't taking me seriously and was treating my fear as entertainment. What do you think? Needing advice?
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah. What the hell? And the word abusive again. It's the second story.
I was just going to ask.
They use the word abusive. Well, she's not the asshole if she's asking if she's the asshole for feeling that way. But oh my God. No, I'm totally in her shoes. Dude, don't kill us. I want to get to where we're going.
Yeah.
I have a lot I'm excited about in my life, and I don't even want to mess around or joke about this thin road going into the sea. No rail guards.
Yeah.
No. Just tootle along.
Slow down.
Drive like an old lady.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Matt?
And that's when stuff happens, though.
Right? Yeah. when you're messing around, Matt?
Yeah, I don't think they're overreacting by any means. Look, if somebody that you're in charge of the vehicle, if you're driving, and if somebody in your car feels uncomfortable, you shouldn't fuck around.
Right.
Simple as that. Now, I will say, I've been in cars where people, have gone fast, and I've welcomed it. I have.
Yeah.
I'm an adrenaline junkie, and if that was the case,
In your younger years, you don't do that now, Matt.
but
You should see him on the weekends. Just kidding.
yeah, so this person should, I don't know, not be allowed to drive anymore. You're putting somebody else's life at risk that wasn't asking for that adventure or that rush. So it's a fuck around and find out moment, and they almost did, and they almost, who knows what could have happened, right? I will save my story for a little bit. What do you think?
I mean, I totally agree, of course, right? Like, everybody's going to know that I'm like, yes, girlfriend should have slowed down and not been an asshole when somebody's being like, I'm scared, you need to drive responsibly, please drive responsibly. She should have done that. It makes me think, though, of something that I read that I thought was really good advice. So, like, as a technique, if you are in the car and say you've been out partying or something, or you're just in the car in general, doesn't even really matter, and somebody is driving where you're worried about their driving and you are worried about your safety. A lot of times, if you're like this person, you're like, slow down, I'm scared, don't do that, you're drive responsibly. I think that there's a good risk if that person is like, it's fine. If they've got Superman complex that nothing's going to happen and they're going to be fine, that they're going to ignore you and not listen to you and not take your advice, not pull over, whatever. Like, say if you want to get out, or, they'll dismiss you. Right. However, if you claim that you're going to puke, if you say, I am so sick, I'm going to throw up, you need to pull over, I'm going to throw up. Nobody wants anybody to throw up in their car. Chances are that they will pull over on the side of the road so that you can remove yourself from the car, call another ride, or whatever you need to do to get yourself safe and out of that situation.
That's a really good point.
I thought that was a good strategy. Luckily, I haven't had to use that strategy, but it's a good thing to just keep up your sleeve. Yeah. Because you can get car sick. Anybody can get car sick. Or, if you have been out and you're like, oh, maybe this person claims that they're safe to drive, and you find out, hey, they are really not safe to drive. And their judgment is impaired. Again, good kind of strategy to get yourself out of that situation. One of the first things you say,
just don't puke in my car. Just say, I got to puke, skirt. Get over and. But no, I like how you tied that Superman complex back into that too. It's because that's super true. Like, if you bring that up, like, hey, slow down, like, you're not safe to drive, will that person take that, ignore it, and go faster and be more aggressive and like prove that, no, I am fine and superhuman, and then all of a sudden you get T-boned or whatever. And Oofta.
So I thought that was a good strategy.
I think it was my junior, maybe senior-ish year of high school. I was in a car with my friend Ben and his girlfriend at the time, who we didn't jive, and we had brought her home to Superior, and we were headed back towards Duluth, and we dropped her off, and I was going to jump out and get into the front seat, but it was a 2-door car, Honda Civic at the time. She pushed the seat back and shut the door on me. I was like, well, I'll just sit in the back, whatever. And we come over the bridge and we get onto the freeway, and we're going to head up towards Mesaba Avenue. It's about a half-mile stretch before you get onto the off-ramp.
So you dropped Ben off and she was driving you home?
Nope. Ben was driving the Civic.
Okay.
And we dropped her off.
Okay.
And she
Oh, okay. She
shut
closed
the door on me. And
So
I'm like,
Ben is driving. You're in the back seat.
I'm in the back seat.
Okay.
And we're coming onto the freeway and an ambulance goes by. And everybody had pulled over by this point. And Ben just bloop, got back in, was following, and one of those cars. And I think we were trying to go pretty quickly. Ben was speeding, probably 80, 90.
Oh, gosh.
And one of those cars pulled out in front of him.
Ooh.
And it was like, this is one of the accidents that just like goes slow motion, everything.
Yeah.
Watch him swerve left, miss the car, swerve right. And we hit that, we came in, spun out, hit the guardrail 6 times. Poof, 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 poof. I just threw my hands up in the side of the car to hold myself steady.
Yeah.
Was not wearing my seatbelt.
Oh.
Bad. Always wear your seatbelt. They save lives.
No.
Got out of the car at the end, had to go out Ben's door. That whole front seat was smashed to the seat.
Oh.
How am I hearing these stories all for the first time? What?
So you should have been in that front seat.
I should have been in that front seat, and there's just no way. Would have been dead.
Yeah.
It was smushed to the seat. The whole car just.
And that seat was back too, right? Did you put the seat back or something? You said
It was just like, when you get out of a
two-door,
that seat goes like this. She
yeah.
pushed it back so I couldn't get out of the back seat.
Man.
So although I didn't like her, she
Saved your
my
life.
Saved your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm now convinced that young boys, you should not have driven at all. And your friends should not have driven at all in your younger teens and 20s.
I made it.
These are a lot. These.
They're adventurous ones.
Wow. Please drive safely, everyone.
Yeah. Wear your seatbelt. Don't speed. It's not worth it.
Speaking of car stuff, do you guys follow a mortician on TikTok?
No.
Oh, I do. She's really great. She's cute. She's got I think purple hair. I think her name is Laura the Mortician, or I don't remember. But she has glasses. Anyway.
We'll find her.
She's a mortician. So she, prepares people's bodies after they die. So she is exposed to the cause of death, day in and day out, right? Mm-hmm. And so she has posted a couple things. And one thing that has really stuck with me, because I especially because I saw a reply to this message or whatever, was when you're driving and you're at a light and you're stopped and you're the first car at the red light, when it turns green, you don't want to just automatically
punch it,
step on the gas and go for it, because she has seen more people die from getting T-boned in the intersection, where you need to legit stop, wait a second, look both ways, and then go, at stoplights. Yep. This sounds like basic stuff, but how often are you just driving your car, doing your mindless whatever? You're like, okay, I'm going to go. I never used to. I was watching the light, it's green, go, without looking both ways. Mm-hmm. So she posted this being hey, if you do anything, guys, when you're driving, look both ways when you are at when the light turns green. And there was a stitch, that's what they call it, TikTok, stitched a video. And she was like, oh my gosh, I think you just saved my life, because I never used to do this
Can't
before.
Trust other people driving. I do do that.
Yeah.
If it turns green, I do, especially if the kids are in the car. I'll take a different route home sometimes when the kids are in the car, because I don't want somebody to rear end me if they're on their phone. I'm always thinking ahead of what could that person behind me do.
I watched somebody today run a stop sign. Gone.
Yeah. Well, this person on the internet was this was one of the first times where I actually stopped for a second, and someone ran the light right in front of her, and she was like, had this been yesterday, had I not seen your video, I would have been dead.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Wild.
TikTok saving lives, people.
I know. So, take a minute when you're at the red light. Okay. Am I the asshole for rewarding my daughter after her car accident?
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Intrigued.
My 60-year-old male daughter, 22-year-old female, lives with me while she goes to college and works a part-time job. Her main mode of transportation was a car that's in my name and paid for by me, but she's the only one who uses it since I have a truck that I use. This past week, while on her way home from her job, she got into an accident while making a turn at an intersection with a sharp corner and around some trees that's difficult to see if there's oncoming traffic. The way she describes it is she believed that to be in the clear and started slowly inching forward at the same time a van came speeding around the corner. Between the angle of the hit and how fast the van was going, nearly the entire front of my car was taken off, though fortunately no one was injured. She called me sobbing and panicking. She could barely speak while she told me what happened. I rushed over to pick her up, and we got a tow truck sorted for the car, which is definitely totaled, and she was still shaking from the whole ordeal and profusely apologizing. She's been in a couple car accidents before as a kid, but this was the first where she was behind the wheel. I know she wasn't being reckless. That intersection absolutely sucks. The accident was just that, an accident. The car is what it is, but I was just glad my daughter was all right. Since she was still shaken up, I took her to dinner at one of her local favorite restaurants that we don't go to very often to help calm her down, which it did help her mood quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed everything was fine until I get a call from her mother, my ex-wife, berating me for essentially rewarding our daughter for wrecking the car. She was always the type to insist that giving someone treats after bad behavior would encourage said bad behavior, which I understand to an extent for little kids, but my ex-wife ended the call by basically saying I've just encouraged her to damage any future car she's driving to go to a nice dinner.
It's called an accident, people.
I don't believe my daughter is the type to do that. She was already kind of a nervous driver to begin with, and this situation has likely only escalated that. But when I met up with some buddies, they agreed my ex-wife has a point, and I probably shouldn't have taken her to dinner right after the accident since she was still technically at fault and should have been more careful. This now has me doubting my actions. So, am I the asshole?
No. Overwhelmingly. No. And he needs new friends. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
A, it's your daughter. B, yeah, and you're taking her out to get her mind off of it to feel better. It's not like she's gonna be like, ooh, if I total a car and risk my life, I get a free dinner.
Yeah.
It's probably not what she's thinking.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I would have done the same thing. Or if she wasn't up to it, make her dinner at home or do something at home to get her mind off of that. But
to me, that's just a way as a parent that you show your child that you care and that like you're showing love and trying to give reassurance and comfort when an accident or something bad happens to them. It's not, I don't see it as reinforcing bad behavior.
And I think the ex-wife is probably just jealous because she wasn't there at that time to share that moment with her of grief and taking her out to dinner. So I'm sure she was trying to pile that on him to make him feel bad, and because she's probably jealous she wasn't there or something like that. But
or maybe she just has weird theories about, Yeah.
I mean, I can in a different situation, not a car accident. Like if you're continually being mischievous and nothing to that extent. This is that's a whole different.
It's a pure accident. It's not anything intentional. All right, Matt. You've got things.
No, I'm full on board. Overwhelmingly, in this instance, not the asshole, not you're doing right.
Yeah.
Right? I would do the same exact thing. And the only caveat to this is, were they speeding through the intersection doing 100? Were they doing shitties? You know what I mean? Like that type of accident where it's blatant. This wasn't blatant. This was just an accident. Bad intersection. Yes, she was at fault. Did she miss the red light? I mean, that happens. I don't know. Accidents happen. They're just that, accidents. And yeah, you're at fault, but guess what? That's why you got insurance. You're going to get the car taken care of and life is going to go on. Thank God she's alive. And what else? What this driver is an adult. What's the dad supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right.
As a 22-year-old too, I mean, you're not thinking about insurance, but
right.
It's just
an accident.
Just an accident.
What was he supposed to do? You're going home immediately. Stay in your room.
She'll never want to drive again.
Right.
Then you're putting more fear in her.
Right. And she's not going to call you next time, maybe.
Like being a cautious driver is almost worse too, you know?
Well, think about the...
Overly cautious, I should say.
Yeah. Think about the situation then where, oh, hey, I got into an accident, but I don't feel safe calling my dad because the last time I called him when I got in an accident and I was freaking out, he just chewed me out and he yelled at me, right? Yeah. Like if you're punished for seeking help, then are you going to seek their help in the future? My guess is probably not if you can think about like actions and consequences that way.
Yep. Are there any updates? Does OP give us like anything?
No updates, but the overall vote was not the asshole. Top comment, your ex sounds insufferable. Who is going to wreck their car repeatedly to get a free dinner?
Look at you.
OP replies, she is indeed my ex-wife for a reason. Ha ha. Hey, take a look at this. Another comment. You taught your daughter she can trust you to take care of her when she's struggling emotionally and to expect the same from others in her life. That's a hugely valuable lesson and one she'll remember in future relationships. Kudos. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, being like, you know, this is totally kind of off topic, but we had Valentine's Day recently, right? And you bought me flowers with the kids for Valentine's Day. And I was thinking, you know, it's kind of cool how my kids are learning how they can expect to be treated through certain situations by watching how you treat me. And I think that that's a cool thing. So she has learned, like, so for example, now she gets into an accident down the road. Maybe she's with a boyfriend or something and she calls her boyfriend up for help. And if he just yells at her and chews her out for getting in the accident and is like mad about the car, she has now this experience to be like, okay, that's not love. Like, that's not normal. When this happened and I told my dad and I was so upset and I cried, my dad, who I know loves me, responded with love and comfort and dinner. And, you know, that's how it should be responded to versus yelling and berating and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. When my wife had an accident last year, I was the first person she called. I had the 2 kids at home. She's just running an errand. She calls me. I was calm over the phone. I was like, all right, kids, stop eating breakfast. We got to go get mom. What happened? She had a little ding in her car, or you know, she's in a car accident and she needs her help. So let's go. Like, okay, let's go. But if I was like, yeah, let's like I told opposite. Like, what? Like, how did you do that? No, like, why would she ever call me again in that situation? You know what I mean? Like, oh, what?
And here my kids know that mom responds in a panic.
Well,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Come on, we gotta go.
If you know me, you know I'm a very like, you know, somebody's got to be the person, you know. But,
I mean, I think I was still sort of calm. I think I, you know, I don't know, on the inside.
Is Dad gonna die?
We gotta go.
I said no. I told no, he's not. He's gonna be okay, but we just have to take him to the hospital. Oh. But you also need to walk faster. Oh, somebody replied to this comment, you know, that the kudos because you just demonstrated, you know, what, how she can expect love from other relationships. And somebody responded to that saying, this comment just made me cry because I'm realizing what I missed out on. And another reply to that, I once heard someone say, the person you are now is the person you would have felt safe with as a kid. Seems appropriate.
I mean, speaking of accidents and near-death experiences, we talked about it a little bit this afternoon when we had decided we were going to do this is when you compare Mr. Miller and myself, I am very much adventure seeking and adrenaline and tend to push the limits on things that maybe sometimes I shouldn't. Cliff jumping, for instance.
Yeah.
How high of a cliff can I jump off?
And I'll watch you.
Got 100 feet under my belt so far.
Yeah. Nope.
Right? So,
And I hope you never do that again.
but near-death experiences can happen whether you're on a ladder that's 6 feet tall or you're jumping off a 100-foot cliff into water.
I mean, but
sorts of
there
things.
are like more risky activities,
Correct.
right?
So if you're out there,
Yeah.
if you're out there seeking adventure, I urge you to think of the consequences as I've started to do as I've gotten older. So rather than just jump, maybe go down and swim down there and see what's underneath the water,
Right.
or just be careful, be cautious.
Yeah. And I am very conservative. Like if Matt wants to go jump out of a plane,
He's coming
I'm
with.
not doing that. I will sit on the beach and have a beer and watch you. Like I will enjoy watching you do that. But I feel much more safe on the ground. Things like that. And I've always been like that too, where there was like, when I was younger, my brother and cousin would go to the state fair and they go on these really adventurous roller coasters. I'm like, no, you might go to the top of that roller coaster and that cart might fly off or something like that. And I'm going to be down here having a mini donut. Happy watching you guys have fun up there, and I'm having fun down here. So I don't know. I thought it was the way I was brought up. But yeah, I'm not that adventurous.
New challenge entered into the system.
No
Get
challenge.
Miller to skydive.
No way.
Seek adrenaline safely.
There's,
That's what I think.
Get out
I'm
of your
with you.
comfort zone.
I'm with
but
you, Ryan.
That's not even an uncomfortable zone. That's just it's just not safe.
It is safe though.
Like a
I know.
All right.
All the things that you do, though, you have jumped out of a plane. And I was like you, Ryan. I did watch him from the ground. I was like, I'm not doing that. No, thank you. You've bungee jumped. You've, I don't know, done a bunch of scuba diving. What else have you done? Like,
Everything.
yeah, snowboarding, skiing, all the stuff. But what I'm learning about you is you and cars actually seem to be, when you were younger, that seems to be the most near-death experiences. So our kids are going to have that Life 365 app on their phone where I will know if their speed is in excess of such and such miles per hour.
yeah.
Let's
have the car shut down.
We're going to have lots of
40 miles an
learning
hour.
stories about that because, yeah. You're very lucky, Matt.
I am.
Yeah. We did buy a lottery ticket that night because the
Good call.
doc
Not a
came
single number. Not one
in. Yeah.
out of
Well,
five tickets.
yeah.
Yeah. Not lucky in that way.
Can't
Oh
win
well,
if you
we
don't
didn't
play.
win. Okay. Well, that kind of sums it up, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
All right, everyone. Well, be safe out there. Remember, Ladder Safety Month in March. Don't forget.
Yes.
All right. Have somebody hold the ladder for you.
Yes.
All right. And also, please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Instagram. We appreciate you.
And don't speed.